A Sunday morning shootout in a Seagoville neighborhood leaves a 19-year-old dead and a 51-year-old behind bars.
The shooting was captured on a neighbor's surveillance camera. Larry Robertson is now facing a murder charge. Fox 4's David Santandri has more on what happened before and after the shooting. David.
Yeah, Stephen, Heather, that shootout happened in the middle of a neighborhood. At least one bullet went inside someone's home. There were parents and children out and about when this happened, again around lunchtime yesterday. One of those neighbors who witnessed the shooting turned over some surveillance video to us. A shootout in the middle of a Seagoville neighborhood Sunday morning. A 19-year-old man is dead. 51-year-old Larry Robertson charged with murder.
My daughter was laying down on the bed watching TV and the bullet came right through the window and then she was screaming.
The shooting rattling Tanisha Ortega's family.
All that stuff is just out of control, you know? We're supposed to be in a safe environment, and if you're not safe in your home, where are you supposed to be safe at?
Surveillance video shared with police and obtained by Fox 4 reportedly shows Robertson driving a black Kia passenger car near the 19-year-old who's wearing a red sweatshirt. You hear words exchanged, then gunfire. The 19-year-old runs out of frame as he's shot.
Call 911.
Ortega says she tried to help the young man before he died.
And I was just trying to keep him awake, you know, like tell him, don't go to sleep, you know.
The Kia drives off. According to an arrest warrant, Seagoville police located the Kia and arrested Robertson, who's sharing his story with investigators.
And as far as I know, he is being cooperative.
According to the arrest affidavit, Robertson, who lives in the neighborhood, told police, "That dude came around my house, he had a pistol, he pointed it at me." Robertson's family later told police 2 males were seen on surveillance footage loitering around their home, and one knocked on their door. Robertson's family says he later went out looking for the 2. Footage shows Robertson return, then leave when he's clearly observed to be carrying a rifle. The department, however, believes the fatal shooting should have never happened.
Bad things happen everywhere, but, you know, this is not the way to solve it. You know, gun violence never solves anything.
While the affidavit mentions both Robertson and the 19-year-old exchanged gunfire, it does not specify who shot first. Both appear to display a weapon around the same time. No weapon was found on the 19-year-old, according to police records. It's unclear if someone else was with him out of view during the shooting.
And then he just was gone just like that.
Ortega, who says she watched the 19-year-old pass away, describes it as a haunting encounter.
It just was like shocking. I don't even want to stay here no more. It's not safe, you know?
The 19-year-old has not been publicly identified by police at this point in time. We, however, did speak with some of his family members. They also live in that neighborhood. They declined to do an interview with us today, but we'll be sure to keep you updated if they change their minds or if we learn more information about that 19-year-old. For now, Steve, Heather, back to y'all.
All right, David Santandri live tonight. Thank you.
There tell me the suspect had been renting for less than 2 months.
Monday, a piece of plywood is left where Dallas police forced entry at a West Oak Cliff home Friday afternoon to arrest a man now charged with 2 counts of murder.
They arrested somebody.
30-year-old Garrett Hudgens with his hands behind his back after officers executed a search warrant off El Tivoli Drive. Dallas's new police chief Daniel Como was on scene for the takedown while neighbors watched their street swarmed with law enforcement.
These are detectives, I'm pretty sure.
Those Dallas detectives say they were able to link Hudgens to 2 April murders. One of the victims, an elderly man in a wheelchair, shot and killed outside Fair Park 4:30 a.m. last Wednesday. The victim identified as 71-year-old Percy Howard. New details from an arrest warrant affidavit Fox 4 obtained say surveillance video captured a black Tahoe with a broken headlight taking off. A .45 caliber shell casing from the Fair Park scene was linked to a murder case from earlier this month.
I don't know what what happened over there.
On April 4th, just after 6 a.m., officers responded to a shooting off Cockrell Hill Drive. 51-year-old Jimmy Walker was found shot to death outside the Park Hill apartment complex. An arrest affidavit states a black Tahoe with a headlight out pulled into a nearby warehouse parking lot. As the victim walks by, surveillance video shows the suspected shooter get out of the Tahoe, follow the victim on foot, and then open fire. The black Tahoe then drives away. Dallas police did not release a motive in either case, but did say they're still investigating if these murders were at random or if the suspect knew the victims.
Hudgens remains in the Dallas County Jail this evening. His bond is set at $2 million. And we also checked Hudgens' criminal history, and we only could find a couple of drug convictions, so no history of violence. Heather?
All right, Peyton Yeager live for us tonight. Thanks, Peyton.
A man tased by Dallas police 2 weeks ago before boarding a flight at Love Field is now demanding an apology.
Investigators have given little information, but the man who was tased spoke publicly for the first time today, and Fox 4's Stephen Dial is live with more. Stephen.
Michael Singleton is a chef in North Texas. He says that two plainclothes officers approached him talking about a drug search, and when officers tried to detain him, an officer mentioned a warrant, and then he was tased.
On April 18th, multiple passengers at Love Field started recording when they saw Michael Singleton being detained at the gate area by Dallas police. In this video, you see two officers in uniform and two in plain clothes. Singleton can be heard loudly protesting during the struggle as an officer says he has a warrant.
My name is Michael Singleton. You have a warrant. My name is, I got a traffic warrant.
Seconds later, the officer tells the other officers to let Singleton go, and this is what happened next. Monday, Singleton talked to the media when advocates representing him called a news conference. His left arm in a sling, he says, from nerve damage caused by the airport incident.
What I would like is an apology, first of all, that first and foremost. And I would like to know what are they going to do moving forward with this?
Singleton's side of the story is that plainclothes officers approached him saying that they were searching for drugs. This was after he passed through TSA security. He said the officers already knew his last name. You can hear him talking about drugs in the cell phone video.
I have a traffic warrant for $500. That's fine. You're trying to... No, you said you have cocaine. I'm not a drug dealer.
Police told us in a statement Singleton displayed defensive resistance by tensing his arms and refusing to place his arms behind his back. Dallas police policy allows the use of the taser in this situation to de-escalate an arrest to prevent injury to arrested persons and officers affecting the arrest. Singleton was transported to the city detention center and charged with his outstanding warrants. No other charges were added or pending at this time. Police did not specify what kind of warrants they had. Singleton says he was detained at the airport and released after paying a single $500 traffic warrant.
I was like, can I pay for this right now, you know? And they didn't accept. They said I had to use cash. So I had to call my son to cash app him to get the cash, bring him up here and get me out. So I was there for about a couple of more hours, and then I was released.
So as you saw in that video, his arm was in a sling. He was asked before he did not have his arm in a sling. He says that he has medical records to prove that he had nerve damage and said at times he needs to wear the sling. Guys.
I want to clarify that, Stephen. So before the news conference, he wasn't wearing a sling, and to get the newscast underway, he added the sling. Is that a good description of how it went down?
He was seen not wearing the sling before the news conference started. He put it on. He said he has pain at different times. He said likely later today he may take it off. So being transparent, at least, not denying it.
Absolutely. All right, Stephen Dahl, thanks.
Well, for nearly 30 years, the Amber Alert has helped locate hundreds of children. One of its founders believes changes should be made to make the emergency alert system more effective. Fox 4's Dion Anglin joins us live with more on the concerns that are now being raised.
Hi there, Hannah. Chances are you have experienced an Amber Alert on your cell phone. That goes for most of us. Now, the very people who created that alert, they have concerns. It's become watered down.
You're driving or otherwise preoccupied, and the Amber Alert sound blares from your cell phone. Because of federal restrictions, we are not using the alert's sound in our report, but most cell phone users are familiar with it.
On cell phones today, the minute you touch OK on the alert, it disappears, and you have to know where to hunt it down before you can get access to that information again.
Deanna Simone is the person whose simple idea in 1996 became what is today known across the globe as the Amber Alert. It followed her own feelings of helplessness as Arlington police and the community desperately searched for kidnapping and murder victim 9-year-old Amber Hagerman. However, today, Simone believes the use of the Amber Alert has become oversaturated and misused.
I don't mean to minimize the importance of a missing child report, but there is a very, very distinct difference between an Amber Alert and a missing child report.
And that's the thing that people lost sight of, is to be imminent danger of serious bodily injury or death. That's how we wrote it. That's how we sold it. That's how it was brought up and how we put it into place.
Former Tarrant County Sheriff Dee Anderson, co-founder who worked alongside Simone in creating the alert, agrees completely. He says the criteria was always intended to be at the highest level of a threat to a child. He says some law enforcement agencies have strayed from that. He recalls a conversation with one officer.
Yeah, he admitted, he said, well, what we do in those child custody cases, we use it because it scares that non-custodial parent into bringing the kid back. And that's what happens. They go, oh, God, they're looking for me. They take the kid back. Oh, we're not filing any charges, and they just use it as a tool. But that's not what it was designed for. That's not what it should be used for.
Simone hopes an effort gets underway to lobby lawmakers for change, with criteria aspects as well as the blaring Amber Alert notification itself.
We're using 30-year-old technology for a current-day problem. I mean, if Sprouts can text me that mushrooms are on sale, certainly we can find a way to text the Amber Alerts to where they do not disrupt and jar people's life, where they have the information available.
It's what we feared from day one. We said if it gets to be routine, routine kills it. And I mean, it's a shell of what it was when we started it. Until the pendulum swings back where we're not just doing so many for so many reasons, it's not going to matter because nobody's going to pay attention anyway when they're so frequent.
Now, Simone made a point. She says when she gets an Amber Alert on her phone, she grabs a pen and she writes the details on a sticky note and she puts them on the dashboard of her car. Now, she says not many people are going to do that, but she does hope that its effectiveness will be restored and people will begin to pay close attention to them again. That's the very latest live. Back to you all.